I thought I had the perfect life. I thought I'd built something unbreakable. I met Sara in college, and from the very beginning, she was everything I ever wanted. Smart, charming, beautiful, the kind of woman who could walk into a room and silence it without saying a word. I loved her with everything I had. We dated for 3 years, and when I proposed, she cried tears of joy, or at least I thought they were tears of joy. We got married in a grand ceremony surrounded by family, friends, and smiles. But what I didn't know was that the same night, my entire marriage was doomed. I just wouldn't find out until 18 years later. On the night of our wedding, after the reception ended, Sara claimed she wasn't feeling well and needed some time to rest. I thought nothing of it. I went to the lounge to grab us some water. That's when my life was decided without my knowledge. Because that night, my wife slept with another man. I didn't learn this until nearly 2 decades later. For 18 years, I lived in what I thought was a happy marriage. We had a beautiful daughter, Aisha, and I poured my soul into being a good husband and father. I worked long hours, built a stable home, and gave Sara and Aisha everything they could ever want, but recently things started to feel off. Sara grew distant, and my mom, strangely enough, became cold and awkward whenever I brought up family topics. At first, I thought it was just stress, but something in my gut kept nagging at me. Then, one night, I accidentally overheard a phone conversation between my mom and Sara. My mom's voice was low, urgent. "He's starting to ask questions. You need to make sure he never finds out." "Find out what?" I froze, holding my breath. Sara whispered something I couldn't fully hear, but I caught a few words. It was only that night. Please? If he ever... That night? The next morning, I confronted my mom directly. She denied everything, but her trembling hands gave her away. I didn't push further. Not yet. I needed answers. I started digging. I checked old messages, wedding photos, videos, and even reached out to a couple of friends from our college days. Slowly, fragments of a horrifying story began to surface. Sara's ex-boyfriend, Imran, had shown up at our wedding. They'd been together for 2 years before me, and although she swore she'd cut him off, rumors suggested they'd met again. On our wedding night, but I still didn't have proof. Then came the turning point. One evening, Aisha and I were watching TV when she casually asked why she looked so different from me. It hit me like a lightning bolt. I laughed it off, but inside, I was spiraling. That night, I ordered a DNA test kit. I told myself it was just to shut my paranoia down. 2 weeks later, the results came back. I sat there, staring at the report, my hands shaking uncontrollably. My world collapsed in seconds. I wasn't Aisha's biological father. I couldn't breathe. 18 years of love, memories, bedtime stories, school events, first words, first steps, everything. Crushed in an instant. I needed answers, and I needed them now. That night, I confronted Sara. I held up the DNA results and demanded an explanation. She broke instantly, falling to the floor, sobbing, begging me to listen. And that's when she confessed everything. On our wedding night, Imran cornered her at the hotel bar. She claimed she was confused, overwhelmed, and emotional. One thing led to another, and she ended up sleeping with him. A month later, she discovered she was pregnant, but convinced herself the baby was mine. Except it wasn't, just her secret. My mom knew. Apparently, the morning after our wedding, Sara had confessed everything to her, terrified that Imran might say something. And instead of telling me, my mother told her to stay quiet for the sake of the family. 18 years of lies. 18 years where my own mother and wife looked me in the eyes every single day and kept me in the dark about my own daughter's paternity. I felt something inside me break that night, but I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't lash out. I went silent. And that silence was the start of my revenge. I contacted a lawyer immediately. With the DNA proof in hand, I started divorce proceedings and filed for full custody of our shared assets. Since Aisha was technically not biologically mine, I was under no legal obligation to support her financially. But I wasn't cruel to her. She was innocent in all of this. I made it clear to her that she'd always have my love no matter what the blood test said. But I refused to let Sara get away with destroying my life. I gathered every piece of evidence, the DNA results, Sara's recorded confession, messages from friends, even a voice clip of my mom admitting she knew. I compiled everything into a single folder and sent it to every close family member, friend, and relative. The fallout was nuclear. Sara's parents disowned her instantly. Imran's wife, yes, he was married too, left him after I shared the truth with her. Our entire community turned on Sara. Her reputation was shredded overnight. As for my mom, I cut her out of my life completely. I moved out, blocked her, number, and made sure she knew she'd never be welcome in my home again. But the final blow came at Aisha's 18th birthday party. I stood up in front of everyone, family, friends, neighbors, and handed her an envelope. Inside were the DNA results, along with a letter explaining everything. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at me. I hugged her and whispered, "I will always be your father, but you deserve the truth." Sara stood frozen in the corner, her face pale as the entire room turned toward her. The silence was suffocating. That night, she left the party and never came back. Months later, the divorce was finalized. I kept the house, the savings, and most of our assets. Sara moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of the city, completely abandoned by her family and friends. Imran fled to another city to avoid the chaos. And my mom? She keeps calling, begging for forgiveness. I haven't answered once. 18 years of lies, 18 years of betrayal. I lost my wife. I lost my trust. And I nearly lost my mind. But I rebuilt. Now Aisha lives with me, and our bond is stronger than ever. Sara's gone, my mother's gone. And the truth, as painful as it was, has set me free. This wasn't just revenge. It was justice. Because some lies destroy everything. And when they do, there's no going back.